So I want to talk about something very serious. Let me tell you how they try to set me up. Because remember how all these people got raped? And this is right before I got raped by the transgender. I was 28 years old. I was living at Rose's house, Asian woman's house. And I don't know if this person was transgender or not. But I want to say this because it's very important. I was speaking online. At this point, I don't know anything about life. I called Lusteric and I asked them stuff about getting the gun. I asked them, what do I need to do to get a registered license? Can I get a registered license? Can you tell me what the laws are to this to defend my life? And it was some black guy, officer over the phone, I could tell, or he sounded very much like that. And, he said you can get a gun if you have to defend your own life. And he sounded kind of like he wanted to do it toward me, like maybe shoot me. But that's what he said. And because I asked him, I was like, look, I don't know what's going on. There's a lot of bad people that's coming around me. And, I have to defend my life in some kind of way. And, I don't know what the fuck. The police is the one that wanted to do shit. By this time, I've had 40 fucking tickets. So I don't get a gun. I don't do any more research. I did very little research, if anything, on the laws of firearms to protect our lives. And said, I'm just going to forget about it and just deal with a different way. And I drink with Brian. I don't even know whatever happened to him. And I'm sitting with Brian. We used to drink 2020, and used to drink Crunk Juice, and drink 40s. And but anyway, when I was living there, sometime within the first month of me living there, I lived a total there probably about 5 or 6 months, and it was during the summertime. Right before summer, it was like sometime about April when I moved in, and I remember about a month later, I was talking to, I don't know who it was. Someone messaged me out of nowhere. I don't know where it was, or who it was, what was going on. Two different instances. One I've talked about before. It was so weird. One person called me after being there for about 2 months. I was there about 2-3 months, and someone called me out of nowhere and saying, "Is your name Hector?" Or something, or whatever. I go, yeah, or he said something, I can't remember exactly what he said. He goes, oh, I just found out my dad isn't my biological father, man, and it really fucked me up, man. I'm just dealing with a lot. I'm sorry you had to really do that. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. And I felt bad for the guy. It was some Mexican guy, and he told me his name, and I don't know who it was, but he said that I could have been possibly related to him. And he was crying, and you could tell he was all crying, shuffled up, like very shaken in core about his family. And he said, I just found out that, like my dad's not my biological father, and like it was some other guy, and I don't even know who he is, and I'm sorry to call you, man, like this. I don't even know who you are, but like I'm really shaken up, and they gave me this number or something like that. And I talked to him for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I was like, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And then I go get a 40 and sit down in the living room with Brian as we watch, a movie or just kick it on a TV show and, chatting. And he says, and I look at Brian, I go, hey, there's some guy that called me, and he said, and he said that he was like, he said he called me thinking I was related to him. He was like, he doesn't even know his biological father is. He was all shaken up. I was like, I go, man, it must be really weird and awful to know that your dad wasn't your biological father, and you just find out something like that. And imagine that. And I remember, I think he kind of went like, so I don't know if he knew who recording devices were in that house. Because I didn't know at that time my biological father was Raymond Palomo. I wasn't certain of it. I felt like somebody would have told me, confirming that to me. So what happens is, with that particular situation, there's but this is like a month before that situation. I was there a month, and then I got this chat online. But about a month after that is when that guy called. But I'm gonna say it was sometime in early May, and someone sent me a message, or someone gave me a call, or like a text message, or like a message, like an instant message online, or text message on my phone. And it said something, "Are you a DJ?" or something like that. And I think it was online. Yeah, I think I want to say I was on my computer, because I just got a computer as a little desk, and I talked to this girl, and she said that, and she says, "I'm looking for a DJ. How old are you?" And she, have you ever seen those girls when they sex chat line girls when they're trying to look for like a boyfriend or whatever? And I thought to myself, and this girl maybe there's an opportunity. Who knows? You never know. I'll talk to this girl, who this is. I just a mysterious, encounter. And then she tells me, she goes, I'm 16 years old. I'm 17 years old. I'm about to turn 17. Really? Oh, right, because all guys like young girls. But 18 is legal. And I think to myself, it goes, oh, so I continue to talk, and she says, I'm throwing a party. You think you could possibly DJ? How much do you charge? He goes, I'd like for you to come over, and we're going to have a party, and we're going to have my friends. And I said, well, are your parents going to be home? And she said, no, it's just going to be a party for, he goes, how do you know if that's legal or not? I said something like, do you think, I typed in, is that safe? Or, because I don't know what the situation is, and I'm not trying to sound like a sexual predator, and I said this, and I texted this person online, speaking to him on a message, and I said, are you sure this girl isn't, are you sure? And he goes, maybe I will, I don't know yet, let me look into it. And I just kind of shrugged it off, and this conversation, I talked to this person, didn't last more than maybe a day or two, and it was pretty, a clear conversation. What city are you in? Oh, I live in Frisco, or whatever it is. And it sounded like there was going to be a bunch of seniors and juniors, hot girls at a party, and they wanted me to DJ at it. And I said, I'm 28 years old. And he goes, yeah, that'd be great. Maybe you could come by. And it sounded like I was what this conversation is that the more I got into it, it sounded like I was being baited. But one of the first conversations that I replied back is, are you old enough? I mean, I didn't say old enough. I typed in something along the lines with, are your parents going to be there? Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe I can DJ, but I don't know. I'll have to look into it. It'd be great. I'm sure they recorded me with everything I'd said, but I said something along those lines, beginning conversation. I'm 28 years old, and hot girls that are 16, 17 years old, maybe possibly 18. And I remember thinking to myself, well, if I did DJ and I got paid, I'm sure there's girls that are 18 years old, 19 years old. I ain't gonna lie, that's what I was thinking of. I was like, oh, I'm 18 or 19, that's legal. My dad married my mom when she was 18, and my dad was 59 years old. But I was like, nah, I just don't feel all that great comfortable. It's kind of youngish, and I thought maybe these people were trying to set up me for a trap, to set me up or something like that. And I didn't talk to this person again, but I wanted to say that this is right before I got raped by this transgender as well, and I think it's important for me to say this. I think that person that I was talking to was trying to bait me to go to a 15 or 16. You ever seen the TV show To Catch a Predator? You ever seen that TV show To Catch a Predator? That's exactly what I think that they were trying to do to me. Because I don't know if somebody was faking. If this wasn't a setup, then I think that whoever this was could have been a guy, or could have been someone fetching out this conversation to do that to me. So I think it's important to say, because that's the level of monitoring that's going on. That's the level of conversation that somebody randomly calls me saying finds out he's not the body. And I'm getting a message like that, but I go to school to get a GED and I get raped. And this person just shows up. So anyway, I got gray hair. It's way this is 13 years ago. It's how worthless my life got scummed like that, and I exchanged it for something else. So anyway, I thought it was important for me to say this because those are the tactic behaviors that people do in order to make sure, oh, if Miguel gets in trouble, we're also going to do this at Hector. Oh, if your mother got raped, you think you're going to get a normal life? No, you too. Because that's the lethal thing always people say. They would say, you too. Oh yeah, you too, motherfucker. Because that's, excuse me, Lord, for sinning. That is something that they wanted to do to me. Because nobody understands that because I live too good of a correct life and what seems to be too good and comfortable and clean, no, you too, you get scummed. I'm going to scum you. Everybody gets scummed. And that's why I think it was important for me to say something about this. That's the natural behavior of how people were persecuting me because of Miguel and because of other people that may have gotten away with what they did. Whether it was Richard Murphy that beat somebody into the lost an eye socket ball, an eyeball, or it was whoever it was, or if there was, or somebody else committed suicide, or somebody else went to jail, they want to attack me because of that. Just the same way Patricia went out because, oh, she was best friends with my mom's aunt, and all these other stories that go along with it. So anyway, I think it's important whoever can watch these videos. Does it matter anymore? Stick with you. If you have a good family, stick with your family. Because there's nothing more of dysfunctional, wasteful, and agonizing, painful shithole that some families like mine will end up doing to you. But if you got a good family, let your dreams be young. Dreams and be young. But it's hard to express the hatred that people do in detail to sabotage because they want to put that label onto you because you live too good of a correct life. I need to scum you. Oh, you're going to get this? Now I'm going to scum you again. And that's why. Because of people like that. They stay comfortable. They're just cleaning up. I'm just being hero. I'll take the blame again. Oh, let me complain about this again. Everyone hears about it like that. And they did it to my mother. And it just keeps going. While they stay safe, they'll whoop your ass. They got plenty of money. They got gay power and gay community to protect you. It's free tickets over the police department, detectives, and judges, all that shit. Straight men have the worst in this world, by far. Very few have any education, very few musical talents, very few in the industry, and actors, and in the entertainment field. Very few, and the ones that are so hidden beyond anything, you'll never find out when they're gay. You'll never find out in a billion years. There's a entire new country that they run in secrecy, just like they do in the White House, homosexuality, who's gay and who's bisexual, and those identities. The only way that you're able to tell for sure is if you do physical exams a lot of the times, and maybe even then you won't be able to tell in some cases because there's different types of homosexuals. There's real masculine, there's real feminine, and they practice the art. There's been people, which I'm surprised, I don't know how these people weren't murdered. There have been people that have written books about this, the art of fooling people by being gay, by being straight, the art of straight, living gay. And, it's wild. So anyway, I think it's important for me to say this. And it wasn't like, it sounds like Hector would have done something like that and slept with a 16-year-old girl, if he didn't know that he was being watched. No, it's because the girl was young, and it's the sense of because I was thinking, I was like, there was maybe 18 or 19-year-old girls there, and I could meet, some hot younger girls, but it was just kind of not necessarily all that appealing to me necessarily. If I was in a different circumstances, yeah, just like in a lot of guys, 18 and 19-year-old girl, yeah. But especially now I'm infected with HIV, I wouldn't want to be with a girl that's younger than 25. And she would have to, even if she would be in her somewhere in her mid to late 20s, she'd have to understand that I'd be dying early in life. I wouldn't be able to live a full, long life. And that's very hard, knowing that I'd be leaving this world and I'd be leaving that trash. And then she has to move on without me and live in that sorrow and pain, having someone die like that. You know, my mother was in a relationship with my father and slept with him, and he died. I wouldn't want to bring that pain onto somebody else. And they'd have to accept that I would be dying early because of the drugs, the chemo, the abuse, the living on the streets, the scum, and that's if. I'm already 41 years old, and in 5 months, 41, it's all washed up. It's all about God, which it should have been. It's just leave it to God, pray, and be a good person until death. Because it really matters more when you get older than you think you're going to live forever when you're young. And you're lucky to even live older. Other people did scum it all the way to the cemetery, but I didn't. So, anyway, thought I'd make a video on that. It's very interesting to me, the hateful tactical things that they were doing to try to sabotage me. They were trying to set me up. They were trying to set me up because they wanted to put something against me. Because when other people have all these things, they get blamed, they get busted for these horrible things. They want to put something against me that's real bad, so they can always hold it against me like that. So, like I said, you got the wrong guy, huh?